There's 5 secret things in Dune 2 that made it such a big cinema success. But the strangest part is, these things go directly against traditional movies. So today, let's dive into each of these things to see how the Dune franchise implemented them, but your favorite movie simply couldn't. Let's start it off with strategic scripting. Dune 2 did a great job standing out by eliminating fillers and making every word feel important. And there's 2 secret ways they did this. Firstly, everyone had unique mystery labels. The Duke's son, sister of Bene Gesserit. And what the heck is a house of Atreides? What is that? Literally 9 minutes into Dune 2 and we saw a fully covered lady in black mark a seal. Now traditional movies would simply name her Barbara and call it a day, but here the book intentionally gives this lady mystery by stating that she is a Bene Gesserit, a term no one knew but now wants to learn. Why is she at the meeting? Why is she wearing that? Is she even hot under the scarf? The key takeaway is unique labels put behind unique faces is a key for engagement. To be honest, in general, every single person's name in Dune is so insane. Lisan Al-Gaib, are you are you kidding me, sweetheart? Now the second and more strategic piece of scripting, let's talk about the beautiful speeches. Many movies have speeches, but they aren't Dune speeches. And this is because the scripting behind Paul's speeches are so intentional and direct that it just has a way of moving people. Why is it that on your TikTok For You page, you could understand every Dune 2 edit, even though you maybe haven't even watched the movie yet? It's because the Dune script uses impactful but easy to understand terminology.
This is a form of power that our world has not yet seen. The ultimate power. Consider what you're about to do, Paul Atreides.
Unlike other movies where a speech is delivered to maybe 50 or 100 people, look at the size of the audience receiving the speech. That is the it factor, baby girls. That is it. And when you combine all of these factors, you have no other choice but to root for Paul Atreides. Now what if I told you, unlike other movies, Dune had plot twists every 15 to 20 minutes? Let's take one of the most popular films in the world, Titanic. A phenomenal movie, but if you try your hardest to think of plot twists, you could think of 4, maybe 5, and for a 3+ hour movie that isn't really much. Titanic's first real plot twist when Jack saved Rose from jumping off the boat was 40 minutes into the movie. 40 minutes. And looking back at it now, this Reddit comment is so on the dot. You could miss the first hour and still end up loving it. That is how these traditional movies are building up. But baby girls, on the other hand, with Dune 1, a film that critics bashed on for being slow, literally had 3 points of tension within the 40-minute mark. The first one being Paul revealing his voice at breakfast, the Reverend Mother already almost killing him, and a disguised Fremen confronting Jessica in her own home. That's so insane. And baby girls, this is one of the biggest reasons you felt on edge throughout the entire movie. And to take this point just one step further, the twists that happen in Dune are a lot riskier than traditional movie twists. Only halfway into the first movie, and Paul Atreides, the main character, risked death twice. Just ask yourself, how many movies have you seen where the main character almost died twice, bro? But enough yapping, let's get into some of the even more interesting points. Because let's face it, whether it was the bald Baron Harkonnen, the Reverend Mothers with the writing over their faces, these unique characters played such a big role behind the movie's success. And there are 2 reasons behind this. And the second reason is a psychological one that you definitely didn't think about. Trust me, you didn't. Firstly, unique characters just have an aesthetic appeal. Staring at human faces for 2 hours can definitely get boring, and even though lots of movies can still do well using only humans, there's a reason why the biggest movies of all time are ones with unique elements like the blue creatures in Avatar or the dinosaurs in Jurassic World. So throughout Dune, it was so refreshing to see these various creations in a real action movie. But of course, sweethearts, look at me. There's still more to the story. Psychologically, after you look at something you aren't familiar with, your brain jumps into curiosity mode. When I first saw Daddy Fade Rota, sure, initially I was just hooked due to his aesthetic of his bald head, his weird tongue coming out all over the place, like I was kind of into it. No, I'm not. Bro, it's literally Ramadan. I wasn't into it, bro. I wasn't into it. But yeah, anyways, over time, I wanted to learn more about his species. Why is he so good at combat? What's the reason behind his black and white theme? Is he even human? When humans look at other humans in a movie, these type of curiosity questions don't really pop up. Because, well, like, we know ourselves pretty well. Nothing here is like mystery. But when I see a Reverend Mother with text on her face, hello. Hello. This was such a big engagement factor throughout the entire movie. Now let's discuss a cinema trick known as defining the enemy. It's so much easier to feel involved in a movie when it feels like the entire world is at stakes. You can only pick one or the other side. Only a minute into Dune, Shawnee is clearly explaining the rivalry between the Harkonnens and the Fremen. Anybody that at least starts the movie now has a clear understanding of the backstory, the enemies, which certainly increases their chance of at least watching it. And I'm not actually sure why traditional movies don't follow this approach, because it seems like they love doing the let's throw you into it and we can uncover the mystery together, instead of what Dune mainly did, which is here's the big rivalry, let's see how it unfolds. Like, it just shows it to you first. The movie Nope by Jordan Peele was a phenomenal example of this. It was a movie with great potential, but because they lacked clarification, it was very confusing for a lot of the audience. If Shawnee didn't explain the backstory in the beginning, perhaps only the book readers would have made it past 30 minutes in the movie, because it was just so slow and I had nothing to look forward to without that little insert. Before we move on to the next very clever point, let's breathe for a second. Happy Ramadan, guys. You guys know I love being happy, friendly, none of that serious stuff. Like, I'm such a happy... Let's talk about reason number 5 why Dune 2 is different from the others. Not only does Dune 2 use unique characters, but it takes things a step further and makes excellent use of various distinct environments. One minute you're in the desert, oh, I can't see, brown. The next, it looks like you're in a luxury CEO office meeting, and then all of a sudden you're in a horror movie feeling anxious because Mr. Baldy is charging at you in a black and white battle. And the reason this point is so important is because personally, when I watched Dune 2, I literally felt like I was watching some brand new movie every 30 minutes. Dune 2 genuinely could have been cut up into 3 different movies and it would still make sense. There could be one whole section of him integrating with the Fremen, the one whole section of the war at the end. They could do so much content, and it's because there were so many different distinct environments. A lot of traditional media like The Office or The Maze Runner, there were still points in the movie where I got just bored of watching grass and a metal 35 million feet wall all day. Like, that's all I'm looking at. Hello? Show me like some girls, like show me something. I'm sorry, once again, I didn't mean that part. Rebecca Ferguson, you know I only got eyes for you, baby girl. Come on, it's me and you, baby girl. It's always been us. It's been us. If you want to see why Madame Web was actually great, click here. Random video right here. Subscribe. I love you guys. Deuces.